So, I just saw Detective Pikachu the other day. And boy, was that some good old nostalgia. Wow, 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 wow. I never would have imagined in a million years that a live-action Pokemon movie would ever be done. And it's surprisingly good. You know about that long and depressing history of video game movies, and without being hyperbolic, can we finally say we reached a point where we finally have a good one? Now for me, I absolutely love Pokemon and everything that has to do with it. The games, anime, and even the music. I have every soundtrack that was ever released by 4Kids back in the day. Who doesn't love that good old Double Trouble track? So Detective Pikachu really knocked it out of the park. I could never imagine this possible, but I'd be damned if they ain't made Pikachu the cutest thing in the world. Without spoiling anything, the story is very predictable and is done in such an endearing way that you can't help but overlook it. It's basically just a noir story with inhabited creatures that can either serve you drinks or direct you in traffic. Most of you guys already know what the story is about. Some might think it's paint by numbers, while others like me enjoy the simplistic story as a whole that Pokemon has always been since the beginning. Yeah, there are certain plot holes and aspects that I won't go into spoilers about, but I think the writers ultimately captured the feel and heart of what Pokemon can be about sometimes. Rob Letterman did a great job with directing a story that took place in a world already accompanied by Pokemon, rather than sending Pikachu to New York through a Game Boy vortex. Fucking hell. You can tell without a doubt that the production team had massive love and admiration for Pokemon in general, and it shows on screen. Wide shots that give you glimpses of how people interact with Pokemon on a day-to-day basis can't help but put a smile on your face, unless you're heartless. The fluent CGI throughout the movie was sometimes flawless, up until a point that if you've seen the movie, you know it really ramps up at the end. Seeing major players like Bulbasaur and Squirtle being animated so lifelike did generate a tear at one point in the movie. But the icing on the cake was none other than seeing Charizard in all its glory. Yes, people, I am a Gen 1er, and I'm also that kid that repeatedly chose Charmander as my starter. So what? Don't judge me. One of the biggest highlights of the movie will be the Pokemon battle that was advertised, and it's just as awesome as you can imagine. I do wish it went on a little longer, but you know what? I didn't even know I was waiting 20-something years for this, so I loved it. Now, I might be in the minority, but when Ryan Reynolds was first cast as playing Pikachu, I was not pleased. I love Ryan Reynolds, and I also love him playing Deadpool. I just thought at the time like, oh my god, there's gonna be a Pokemon movie? But Pikachu's being played by Deadpool? Now, will you excuse me while I go put my foot in my mouth?
That's a twist. That's very twisty.
I absolutely enjoyed Ryan playing Pikachu. He might not be the biggest Pokemon fan if you've seen the interviews, but I still felt like while I was watching the movie that he enjoyed the role. My original gripes about it did go away as I watched because it does come full circle, which made it very believable for me, minus the very fantastical plot. My boy Justice Smith killing it, as well as Tim Goodman on a mission to help Pikachu solve a mystery around his deceased father, and their dynamic was so cute. Newcomer Catherine Newton was also a good addition to the cast, and her role was very interesting that I wish could have been fleshed out a little more, but now I'm getting into things that I know a Pokemon movie isn't going to do. Overall, I think it was a very enjoyable movie, from the story to the character development, voice acting, the acting itself, all the way to the uber impressive visual effects. This movie is a definite love letter to the fans. I've loved this series for about 20-something years since it all started, and I took in absolute glee in the fact that something like this can even be brought to fruition. So I hope this movie finally breaks the curse of bad video game adaptations, and we can get more of these gems in the future. So that's my really short review of Detective Pikachu. Hopefully some agree with my points, and maybe if you haven't seen the movie, you may go out and check it out yourselves. Y'all know what the deal is. It's your boy Kamari. Take it easy.